Tesla just reported their earnings and their stock is up by a little bit. Currently it's at $403. Let's look at how they did in the most recent quarter. As you can see on the screen, the total automotive revenues are down 8% year over year, and the total revenues, that includes both automotive, energy and services and other revenue, it's only up by 2%. Elon has promised 50% year over year growth for the next few years, right? But here we are at 2%. And when you look at the gross margin, it's only 16.3%. Personally, in the long term, I feel they can achieve close to 25 to 30% gross margins, but currently 16.3% gross margin is not that impressive. Look at how they did for the entire year of 2024. As you can see on the screen, the total revenues are pretty much flat. The growth is only 1%, and the gross margin is 17.9%. And like I said before, I'm anticipating 25% plus gross margins for Tesla. 17.9% is not too great. A $1 trillion company should not have this low of a gross margin. But anyway, we have a lot of expectations on Tesla for future. So currently we should not think that this company is very overvalued. We should look into the projections for 2030 and then decide whether it is a buy or not. So for that, I have done a valuation for Tesla in 2030. My assumption is Tesla will make close to $527 billion of revenue. And I've done a video a few months ago on Tesla explaining this 2030 valuation. I'm going to keep the link in the pinned comment so you can look into my thought process, but I'm just showing the valuation directly here. I'm estimating $527 billion of revenue by 2030. Net profit margin, I'm assuming 17%. They are nowhere near that now. The net profit margin is in high single digits now, but if they can achieve 25% plus gross margins, they can get to 17% net profit margin. And that's my assumption long term, because as they scale in future, the operating expenses can be controlled, the revenue will still grow, and they can achieve net profit margin close to 17%. So that's my assumption. And I'm assigning a multiple of 25, 27.5 and 30 for this company. So the market cap would be between 2.24 trillion to 2.69 trillion by 2030. And I'm estimating 1% dilution for the next 6 years. So that puts the stock price by Jan 2031 between $653 and $784. So that's a gain between 62% and 95% based on the current price of $403. And that's in 6 years. So that's not very attractive to me. And with a stock like Tesla, where there's a lot of hype, I think there will be opportunities wherein we can get this stock under $250. And I personally own about 100 shares at about $120 stock price. So I am up almost like 200% on this. But I'm going to hold my shares. I'm not a buyer at $403. I don't think it's a good entry point. I would think about buying this stock if it falls below $250. And if it goes below $200, I can add significantly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.